Welcome, my name is Peter. I'm a lecturer here, part-time lecturer, and my specialty is in Revit. So we're going to start to teach you how to use Revit from the basics all the way up to a comprehensive level for enable you to use it on your design projects. So first of all, open up Revit. So if you double click on it, if you haven't got a shortcut on your desk screen, if you go to the this is Windows 10, so it might be slightly different on Windows 8, but you can find the program by My Apps. And if you open up Revit, you get with the splash screen. These are the shortcuts to projects if you've previously opened them up. If this is the first time, you might have the sample project, and the sample project is just a demonstration of what Revit can do. So if you double click on it, if you don't have a shortcut to it, the file is going to be uploaded onto Moodle. So double click on it, click on the little tab up there, that's a 3D. So Revit is a 3D program which enables you to model a virtual model of a building, and including the topography as well and the landscaping. So you can start from a very conceptual form, so doing massing, which is what we're going to learn today, up to a more comprehensive building form including construction details like this sample project. So what I'm going to quickly run through is the interface. So when you double click it, this is the window, so this is what you're viewing, what you can see. And if you use the middle, if you click on the little tab there, that brings you to the 3D model. So if you use the scroll button, if you scroll in to zoom in, zoom out. If you keep your finger on the scroll button, you can just pan over, and if you want to rotate it, keep your finger on shift and the middle button and you can rotate it, rotate the model. So this is the interface. Up the top bar is a toolbar, so this is where you can, we're going to quickly run through what they all do, but this is where predominantly how you construct your model. This is the project browser, and the project browser is where all your drawings are kept. Because you're creating a 3D virtual model, from that you need to dictate to create drawings, and the drawings are taking extracts from that model to create floor plans, elevations, to inform other people, or to inform your, if you want to describe your design with various floor plans or elevations or sections. If you double click on any of the views, it will show you what you're selecting. So these are the 3D views, so you've got your floor plans, you've got your elevations. So if I double click on it, those are your elevations, and there's a sheet, so when you eventually create multiple views, you can stick them onto an A1 or A3 sheets. So we're going to go to a floor plan, so you click on the floor plan, go back to the 3D view. These are your shortcuts, so you can shortcut save, there's a shortcut for printing, and there's a shortcut for the 3D model. Underneath that, these are various tabs. If you click on any of them, these offer you different tools. The first one is the main one, so this is where you can construct your walls and floors and curtain walling. You can also create stairs in this tab, and you can also create openings. That's the very basics. Structure. So Revit, it offers this program to other consultants. So for example, the structural engineer, mechanical and electrical engineer might want to use Revit to input their discipline within there. And these are the tools for the structural engineer, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Insert, so you can import other Revit models. You can also input DWGs, so when you create AutoCAD files, and you can also import images. Annotate, so you can add dimensions, and you can also add in text. You can also add in tabs. Modeling, so when you're massing and site, so when you're first using Revit, you might want to do a conceptual form. We will be learning that today. So we can use massing tools to create a very simplest form of your building. Collaborate, you don't have to worry too much about that tool enables you to, in practice, multiple people to work on the same model. View, so you can, from these views, if you haven't set them up, you can also set them up here, so you can create 3D views. You can also create plans and sections as well, additional drawings. And then you got manage, which is where the material library is and the units are in there. Add-ons, so you can have different add-ons, so there are extra tools for other things, but we're not going to run through that today. But also new to Portsmouth and what we've signed up to is using V-Ray, and V-Ray enables you to do more photorealistic imagery within, but the add-on, it makes it a lot more simpler to create those. So as we're going throughout the year, we're going to start to use the V-Ray add-on as well. So first of all, if you double click on a floor plan, so like I said, you're extracting views. So this is a plan view of a floor plan of that building, and one of the things which is cohesive to all the sheets is the visibility graphics. If I click on edit, visibility graphics enables you to switch things on and off. So similarly to layers in AutoCAD, you can switch things on and off. So for example, you've got 3D furniture in there. If I click on the tab in the properties tab, edit, the first one, model categories, are all the 3D objects. So if I just want to switch the furniture off, if I untick it, click apply, the furniture disappears. All it's done is switched it off, it hasn't deleted it. So if I go back to visibility graphics, if I click on walls, you see all the walls will disappear. But if I go back to the 3D view, they haven't been deleted, they've just been switched off. So you can make specific drawings. So this drawing you might just want to show just the furniture or the furniture layout. But there might be other drawings that you might want to, if I switch them back on, you might just want to show the setting out, so without the furniture. This drawing is just giving you a sort of an idea on flows and adjacencies within the rooms, so you can add in colours showing various departments or rooms within your space, within your building. And the visibility graphics is specific to every view. Has, if you double click on elevations, every view has those options. So in this, if I want to switch the windows off, the windows disappear. So you can switch things on and off as you see fit, and then go back to it, switch it back on. If I go double click back to the floor plan, as you can see, these are annotations. So if I go to visibility graphics, annotations, so 2D text, dimensions or tags, or in this you've got grid lines in here, are covered under annotation categories. So if I switch, just so you can see, switch off the grid lines, see the grid lines disappear. If I want to switch off, these are called room tags. If I want to switch those off, room tags, they disappear. So you can switch things on and off depending on what kind of drawing you want to create. At the bottom here, similar to visibility graphics, this is apparent to all the views, you have the display functions. So you can, the first one is changing the scale, so you can change the scale to 1000, for example. That's just an extreme, and as you can see, the text is scaled in accordance with the scaling at the bottom. So if you leave it at 100, it scales it correctly, but if you're doing a master plan, for example, you do it to 1 to 500, you wouldn't have those texts, so those will be switched off. If I go back to 1 to 100. This is the level of detail. So level of detail means how you want to show, for example, the floor construction, the wall construction. So if I click on course, it gives you a very basic zone. So it's just showing you a zone for the build up for the construction of those walls. So that's more useful if you're doing drawings for planning, or you don't want to show too much detail at that stage, so the early stages. But as you're developing and you understand what kind of construction those walls are going to be, you're going to the next level of detail, which is medium. So that this time it's adding in zones, so zones for where you're putting in the construction. And fine detail just goes to, adds a bit more function, but it's not too dissimilar to medium. This one here is the visual styles. So this is, let's demonstrate if I go to the 3D view. So visual styles, you can either have hidden line, which is just like a black and white drawing. If you go to shaded, it gives you a, take into account the sun, so it gives you coloured but shown but with highlights. If you go to consistent, it ignores where the light's coming from and makes it just a flat colour. So that's the difference between shaded, which gives you dark and light greens for the topography where the topography falls, whereas so when you go to consistent view, it changes it to a flat colour. Realistic view gives you the option to add in the texture of material. So here the texture assigned to the grass is just a tile texture, so if I zoom in you can see the grass into it. So that's more useful when you're doing rendering. And then retrace again is to do the rendering, so it uses the mapping of textures to illustrate the type of materials, and this is just a bit smoother. But these two functions, realistic and race trace, are quite computer memory heavy, so it will make things a bit slower. So I'll go back to shaded. Next one is the sun path or shadows, so you can add shadows on and off. This is a shortcut to rendering, so if you want to render that view, it gives you the option there. And then you can have crop, so I'll just tick these boxes here. So a crop box, so you can crop the view down here just to highlight a specific element. So if I just wanted to show just the front screen, you can do. And next one, you can lock the view, so if you put save lock, call it OK, just call it 1, so you can now no longer amend or move that. As I'm trying to rotate it, it's locked. You can just unlock the view. The rest don't worry about too much. If I want to turn off the crop box, it's either down here, do not crop view, or you can just switch it off in here, because the properties give you options according to what you select. So if I selected a window, for example, it gives you the options of what you can do with those elements. But we won't worry about this too much today. I'll switch everything off. And this toolbar down here is relevant to all the views. So if I go to an elevation, and if I wanted to change so at the moment it's hidden in the frame, you can change it to a coloured, change it to a consistent colour, you can switch off the shadows, etc. So one of the first tasks I want you to do is to create a section, and then we're going to use these bars here and the visibility graphics to change the settings. So whenever you want to create a section, you need to go to a plan, So you go to plan, you go to view, and there's a little section ball there tool. So I'm just going to take a section through here. So if I left click, drag, right click, that creates a section for you. Now that's the view range. So I'm standing here, so cutting through the building here, and this dashed line highlights how far I can view the model. So I can extend it or reduce it. So if I double click, once I create that view on the sections, it automatically creates it. So at the moment I'm cutting through there. That's the view. If I go back to it, if I just want to cut maybe a meter in front of me, I drag the little tab and I go back to that view. Only you can't see into the distance. It only takes into account that meter. But I want to view right into distance. So I go back to the first floor plan. Click. Keep your finger on the left hand button and drag it out. So that's creating a section, and if I go to that section, you can change the level detail. So change the level detail to medium, change the colour to shaded. If you select it, change the crop box so I get a full view of the model, and then I can switch the shadows on. I don't want to see the trees, so I use visibility graphics, which is that toolbar there, and then under topography, or planting, I'll switch that off. Those trees disappear. So that's how you create a section. So I want you to create a 3D view. So staying on the floor plan, if I click the little tab there, I click on the little tab there and then click camera, brings you off a little camera, and that's where I'm just going to be standing. So find a point, so I'm bottom left, if I left click, drag out towards the building, and it automatically creates a 3D view. You can change the crop region. And you can change the visual styles here. So if I go shaded and then put the shadows on. Now to tweak 3D views, if you press F8, it gives you this little navigational wheel. So if I keep my finger on look, you can go left and right. If I click my finger on up and down, it gives you up and down option. And then if I click zoom, so you can zoom in or zoom out, and you can also orientate. So if I pan it out, and if you want to get rid of that wheel, so once you've got a view that you're happy with, you can untick, press F8 again, and there you go. There's the view that you create. So that's it for in terms of just viewing a existing project. Next bit we're going to be doing is massing.